turrets, drops, Hellion harass.
Even balance of what you have in the air, Vikings versus medevacs.
How many Ravens do you make? Don't make too many, but you got to have some to help. You know, how is having more Raven energy for PDD more important than having more Vikings, for example?
Hard contain versus soft contain, hard drop versus soft drop. All these things so important.
Yeah. Well, King Sejong Station is the map pick here for TY.
King Sejong is the one that made all the Koreans switch to Hanja, right?
Yes. Hangul.
Hangul, excuse me.
And there's also
Korean text.
A base called the King Sejong Science Facility in Antarctica. And that's what this map is named after.
Oh my God, we're going to Antarctica for our final TVT. It's not just penguins. One of these players might be extinct pretty soon here from the GSL Code A. Maybe it's not penguins. I think it was polar bears, actually. Over here in the bottom right, is he going with the polar bears? He is.
SuperNova.
Yeah, there he is.
Drink it in, nerds.
Drink it in at the top left. His opponent, known as Baby or Taeyong, otherwise
TY.
Yeah, I saw this list a couple months ago about all the species that'll probably be. It was like one of these futurism lists, like by so-and-so will have augmented reality and 3D printed organs and stuff, but on the list was just the list of animals that'll be extinct. Oh my God, man, that was sad.
By the way, have you seen this? I think this came out yesterday. I've an announcement about this. The Google contact lens that has.
Yeah, I swear I read this morning when I woke up.
That is pretty
crazy.
It's actually like this element that's used in sci-fi so much. This contact lens that like shows you things, but like in Ghost in the Shell or something. But it's actually like becoming.
It's becoming a real thing.
It's becoming a reality.
Yeah.
I mean, Google Glass in itself was like a cool concept, but it seemed like just a bit cumbersome. But then you look at this contact lens and you think, well,
yeah, no,
how far can we go?
Yeah, exactly. It's so fascinating because you know, we actually live in a very interesting period, Wolf, that really nobody in the history of the world is ever going to will have seen it, which is that we're now at a point where everything we're learning about is going up at an exponential rate. Right. Like when I was very little, that was right when cell phones, actually it was pagers first.
Yes.
Which is like some kind of weird, forgotten dinosaur technology. Then the cell phones came out, and the same thing with the internet. I got to watch. I remember even being in school and seeing my teachers knew absolutely nothing about computers.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't know what Control-Alt-Delete did. You know, I mean, I could easily cheat or do whatever I wanted in any of those classes. And now we're like at this point where I got to see that in my childhood all the way to now. Yeah, right. We're getting Google Contact Lens. Yeah. You know.
Well, it's a time period where, you know, you and I have two smartphones on this desk that I can do anything with, essentially. Where when I was born and to the early part of my childhood, payphones were still commonly used.
Yeah, exactly. And from what I understand, because I've read this crazy good article. I wish I had saved it somewhere so I could send it to you. But yeah, I mean, just the way that what we're seeing now, it's like that, but there will never be such a big leap over a short period of time in anybody's life.
Yeah.
You know, to go from, for instance, having to use, I'm pretty sure you were not quite, because you're just a little bit younger than me, but did you ever use MS-DOS?
I did a little bit on my father's laptop when I was very young. Very young,
yeah. So, I mean, I was using DOS when I was in, like, middle school and stuff. Oh, no, I guess it was probably a little bit before, like, 6th grade, 5th grade. So, but I was using DOS. To go from DOS to now, you know, dealing with, like, a touch screen on my phone, I mean, it's absolutely insane.
It is.
So, pretty exciting stuff. Okay, so in this game, we had this was actually similar to the start of game number 1 with these two. Yeah. Is that correct? Where one guy was going for the Banshee. Well, I spoke too soon. I'm sorry. One guy now going for a Raven opening. And, in fact, the other going for a Raven opening as well here.
We have SuperNova with a Widowmine edition.
Yeah, the Widowmine edition caught me off guard. I thought we were going to have a drop then. Then I saw the Raven pop out. Then I saw the other guy getting a Raven. So it's almost like both sides are trying to preempt the other one for possible harass here.
I wonder what he's going to do with this Widowmine. Is he going to try to put it at the natural of his opponent, or is he going to try to like set on a flight path of a Banshee? It looks like he's actually going to try to put it at the natural. He's scouting with his SCV here. Okay, well, so far he just keeps it in the middle of the map. That's kind of weird. That's a common walkway, though, across the map. So I guess that's the plan here.
Yeah, that is a bit odd.
I mean, it's not like it's a super expensive unit that he's spent here. During the time period where the add-ons are being made in your factory, you can either make like a Hellion or a Widowmine. One Hellion isn't that useful, one Widowmine isn't that useful by itself, but you gotta build something if you want to maximize the production time. So I guess he was just like, well, I'll put this here and maybe it accomplishes something. It gives me a little bit of vision on the map.
Yeah.
He already had the SCV at the front to scout, so he didn't need the Hellion to like run over there and see if there's a CC or not.
Do you think SuperNova can still take this?
Yeah, absolutely.
I really do feel like TY has got such a solid understanding of TVT, better than most people. But
I think so, but the thing is, like, it's hard for me to really judge how good anyone is at TVT because it's so rare right now. Unless I'm like sitting in the house watching play ladder games, it's hard for me to like look at it and say, well, he's better than this guy at TVT, because so much has changed from this period of time when TVT games in Korea are not really being broadcasted that much. And of course, I'm not, spending my time in team houses like standing behind SuperNova, like seeing exactly how he plays. Well, he's not in a team house anyways because he's teamless. But TY, for example, how does he practice with Flash? When we see Flash at TVTs, it's just a rare matchup. So, which is it's funny to see just how little it's changed over the years, because all the other matchups have changed so much from month to month oftentimes.
Well, TVT was one of the matchups in StarCraft II that we started out with already having a very good understanding of how it worked, because it did operate so similarly to Brood War.
Yeah.
Which I think was why we saw so many technical, exciting TVTs right away when StarCraft II came out, is really there was a version of this matchup that was already being played for a long time in Brood War.
Yeah. We saw so many crazy builds.
Oh, yeah.
I remember just even seeing, like, Ensnare, like, pull all of his SCVs and...
Oh, yeah.
And, like, try to kill the command center, like, on close spawns of Metalopolis. That was a mistake, getting way too close there, and the PDD helps out quite a bit. And meanwhile, SuperNova's going for a drop. He's actually going to try to put on some heavy counter pressure here. With just Marines, this actually could do a ton of damage. TY only having a few units back here. Oh my god, he's moving the wrong direction with those Hellions. Okay, let's see how much damage he gets on 2 SCVs. And has to pick up.
He actually is going to save almost every Marine there. He picks up, backs out. Meanwhile, TY just maneuvering along the outer perimeter here to see what exactly he can close off here from his opponent. Now, also keep in mind that this map is very different from some of the other maps we've seen. There's actually 2 ways to get outside of your base, which means there's not a really straightforward contain you can do, although you can park outside of their base if you have a superior army, and if they do try to leave, you can counterattack into their base.
Well, this counter drop right now is pretty annoying to deal with. And we see that SuperNova has a siege tank set up at home.
Really poor dropping location there.
The siege tanks on the low ground, I feel, make it all okay. He's going to end up losing that. Oh, wow. He's actually left his natural completely undefended, so I spoke too soon, but he was going to lose the Raven and maybe the siege tanks, but like
he's not even
his SCVs.
I don't even think he's aware amidst all these battles that this is going on. We would have seen the SCVs pulled a long time ago.
Well,
in fact, now he's able to get up here.
Remember what I said earlier about microing your attack while defending the drop of your opponent? Like, that's exactly what we're seeing. He's microing over here at TY's base instead of microing at the defense. So they both actually done a pretty crazy amount of damage to each other.
Yeah, they're actually both pretty badly bruised from this. Well, SuperNova is slightly down more in workers. It seemed like he was not aware that his unnatural workers were getting attacked. And there's another set of Hellions now coming out here for TY to hit SuperNova again and hit hard.
That Widowmine with 3 kills on 2 Marines and a Hellion.
It's got to be annoying.
It also spots the Hellion, so TY's like, well, I only lost a Hellion and it took some damage, but, I probably shouldn't even really attack with this anymore because he knows it's coming. It's so funny how we see now SuperNova being the one who decides to play a bio style, and TY switches to mech. It's almost like they both thought, like, I don't actually feel like comfortable doing this right now, and they've like switched ideas. That's like what I love about this matchup so much, is that you can just kind of on the fly change how you play it completely. Instead of just being like, well, I'm going to go Oracles instead of a Blink Stalker build.
Well, yeah, you don't get stuck doing something. And the transition, it's not the easiest to do, but it is doable.
Yeah.
I think mainly because you can rotate out the add-ons.
You can rotate the add-ons. You have these backbone units like siege tanks that you're going to need no matter what. And so if you have a few siege tanks already, you sort of lose your bio, you can transition, especially now that we have mech upgrades tied together, plating and attack, so it's not that hard to like catch up with mech upgrades. The air transitions are very flexible as well. Let's see how much damage this drop does. I don't think it should be critical, but it is a scary drop that's coming across here.
Well, he does scan and see there's not much up there to defend.
Looks like he's going to go to the main base.
Keep in mind that most of what TY has as for offense is actually down here, just to the bottom right of that new expansion SuperNova's making.
That's a lot of Marauders here, Tasus. I think he might actually just be able to turn around and fight this army that's coming to defend. Tanks are unsieged. Targets on 1, 2, and we'll get the third one as well. Auto turret stopping mining
really
right
nicely
now.
done.
And he kills the medevac, but at a high cost here. And he's even sending those SCVs back into the auto turrets. And SuperNova has a group of units ready to come in, and GG, he can't handle it.
Yeah, just outclassed there. You know, it goes to show you, SuperNova is so good with that harass. TY just could not keep up, and SuperNova wins our second best of 3.
I really thought it was going to be the other way around, but the deciding factor in this series was the harassment of TY and how well SuperNova defended it. But in that final game, SuperNova just showing that he has a player in Terran versus Terran that has all sorts of strategies. He can pull out all sorts of styles, and there's no one way to look at him. He's not one-dimensional at all.
SuperNova looks fantastic. I think he's probably going to get out of this group. I was really interested to see how he do against somebody like TY, formerly known as Baby. But nicely done. I mean, he was just too many places at once. And that was a game that, a lot of the other TVTs we've seen, it's like, 8 or 9 things that built up to this one big moment. But in that last big attack, really, that was what kind of ended it. He got in there with the Marauders. He shot down those siege tanks. At the same time, the auto turrets were gunning down SCVs. It seemed like TY was actually unaware that the auto turrets were even there. He sent the SCVs back over there, and they ended up gunning down.
He was working
turrets
on,
took down a lot of workers.
He was working on trying to harass with his Hellions, but SuperNova had a defense at home. It wasn't even all of his army that he sent in those drops. It was just enough to kill some tanks that were unsieged, which he knew that TY would have to move to defend.
Well, we're going to go on to our winners match and see who's going to be the first to get out of Group I here at the GSL Code A after this short break.